Hey guys, it's your old pal Tony Giles TG here, welcoming you once again back into the record room. And on this week's episode, we're talking about a subject near and dear to my heart, and that is record cleaning or record maintenance. And I recently purchased a brand new ultrasonic record cleaning machine for the record room, and I figured now is as good a time as any to talk about my cleaning regime and the benefits that you can really get from having a cleaning machine, or at least cleaning your records. And I'm sure most of you out there are probably familiar with something like this. This is a felt pad, and on the top here we have a stylus brush. Now this very brush cleaning device, whatever you want to call it, this is the first ever record cleaning gadget I ever received or used. I've had this now for probably over 30 years. I think my father gave it to me, and I've used it over the course of 30 years. You know, it's the idea is you take this felt pad here and you move it around the record as it's spinning, and it collects a nice line of dirt, and then you brush the dirt off the record. In actuality, all you're really doing is brushing the dirt into a different place. You're kind of moving it around from one place to the other. It's better than nothing, it is, but is it a good... Would I recommend this for cleaning records? Absolutely not. And record cleaning is something that I would encourage everybody do, whether you're a young collector, you're new to the hobby, or, you know, you just, over the years, have left your records uncleaned. There will be dirt, there will be grime, there will be bits and pieces, bacteria and whatnot in those records that will prevent them from having good audio playback. So I fell into the cleaning rabbit hole probably a decade or so ago and was looking into ways to maintain my records. How could I keep them clean? How could I get rid of those annoying pops and clicks? And I was turned on to this gizmo right here, the Disco Antistat. This is made by a company called Antistat in Germany, and essentially the way this works is you fill up a bath, like this thing here is like a plastic tray. You fill up that tray with a cleaning solution, which is supplied in the box, and then you put these plastic wheels on the side, you put your record in, and then you spin your record round, and it runs through two brushes, and it brushes away the dirt and leaves the dirt in the water. Then you take the record out, give it a shake, and then put it in the supplied drying rack, which, in all fairness, sounds pretty good. It seems like a very logical way to do things, and at first I was really impressed with this machine. You know, it did a really, really good job. But I noticed that the mixture that you get with it was not that good. It kept leaving this white residue on my records, and when I would play them, you know, it would just kind of like completely just stick to the needle straight away. So after doing some research, I found out that most people, they just throw this solution away. I mean, there's even a thing in there where you can recycle the solution. I don't know why people would do that. You're essentially just recycling dirty water. But once I figured out, you know, kind of how to make my own solution and the few different solutions you could buy on the market, I was really happy with this, you know, device. And then essentially, I wouldn't say that it stopped working. It didn't. It wasn't cleaning enough for me. It wasn't getting my records as good as I wanted them to. And also, when you unscrew the middle part of the record, because the way that the Antistat works is like this. So you've got your Disco Antistat set up, and then you have these two discs. These essentially fit together with a record in the middle, and then you use the Disco Antistat. So I'm going to grab my record here. Been a very bad boy, so it needs to be cleaned. And then, quite simply, you put the record on the spindle. You get both sides of the spindle. There you go, nice and tight. And I'm not going to fill this with water because I'm not actually going to use it, but that's essentially the idea, you sit the record in the bath that's got your cleaning solution, and then you pull it through. And it literally works like this. And this is actually already an LP with a scratch, so I'm not actually damaging anything here. But you would pull your record through, which seems fairly, logical. You've got brushes inside the machine, and those brushes, you can see there, they would collect the dirt. And so once you're done, you take your record out and you wring it off. But the downside I started to find was, once you'd taken your record off, the record would be dripping wet and you would get runoff going across the label. And ultimately water won't affect the labels terribly. It won't make them peel, but it can make the ink run, which I found kind of annoying. But so you've cleaned your record and then you use the supplied drying rack, which this is easily the best part about this machine. I still use that to this day. But you take your wet record and then you put it in the drying rack, and then it sits there and it dries. So from the Disco Antistat, I then upgraded and started using an Okki Nokki, which this is what's referred to as an RCM, record cleaning machine, or a VCM, a vacuum cleaning machine. And the way this works is you put your record on the platter, you start the platter spinning, you put your solution on your record, you use a brush to cover the record, make sure that there is a solution all over the record, and then you turn on the vacuum function and this arm goes across and sucks up all the liquid, all the dirt, all the debris, and you get yourself a nice clean record in the process. And I'm actually going to show you how this one works in real time. When I say real time, I'm going to speed the footage up, but I'll show you exactly how I cleaned a record using an Okki Nokki. And I just so happen to have a dirty record right here. This is a copy of Ennio Morricone's Verushka, which I picked up a little while ago and I haven't cleaned yet. I don't know if you can see, but there is some dirt and some bits and bobs and some fluff and whatnot on there. So this will be a good candidate, but you screw the record on. Oh, there you go, like that. Now, depending on how dirty the record is, you've got two settings, and essentially it's clockwise and anti-clockwise. If it's a particularly dirty record, I would do 2 cycles, but as this one, it's just got some fluff on it, I'll probably just do the 1. And there you go. I don't know if you can see that super well, but the record is now coated. It's got a nice gloss to it, and essentially the cleaning solution is in there. It's doing its business. So now I'm going to turn on the vacuum function and we'll clean off this record. And so there you go. Once the record is finished cleaning, the arm will pop up, and then you can stop the motor and then take your record off, clean the other side, and then put it on the drying rack. And so onto the machine that I've upgraded to. This is the Kirmuss Ultrasonic Audio Record Cleaner. And as you can see here, this looks like any kind of ultrasonic cleaner. You may have seen this kind of thing before in a jeweler's. And essentially what you do is you fill up this bath with distilled water, not deionized water, not regular tap water. It has to be distilled water and 70% isopropyl alcohol. You only use 40 milliliters, which is not a lot. You essentially fill up the bath, and that's what's going to clean your records. But the thing you need to do first is you need to degas the system. So any air bubbles or any contaminants that may have gone into the bath with me pouring in the water and the isopropyl alcohol, you need to get rid of those. And it's very simple, very easy to do. And I'm going to show you how it's done now. And you do this process twice. So I'll show you a clip and then we'll cut to sometime in the future when it's done. it is actually recommended that you do two lots of degassing, just to make sure that there are no impurities in the water now. And I don't know if you can see, but there were some bubbles floating around before. Now those are completely gone. And the next step is to take the, I don't know what you would call this, the, it's the apparatus that makes the records move. So you take that and you stick it on the top. And one of the cool things about the Kirmuss is you can do 2 LPs, a 10-inch and a 7-inch. Now I wouldn't recommend doing them all at once because the steps after this take a little bit of time. So you can get to the point where you're staggering things and, you know, when one comes out, another one goes in, but it's entirely up to you. So the first step in the ultrasonic cleaning process is now getting the record wet so the surfactant or cleaning solution will actually adhere to the record. And the way you do that is essentially you just start the machine off running. It sets itself for 5 minutes and that's how long the machine defaults to. You can change that depending on, you know, how dirty your record is. But first things first, we always do a 5-minute cycle, and we do that by simply pressing the on-off button twice. And then you take your record, put it in the slot, and then the record will spin and get wet for 5 minutes. And there you go, that's the first 5-minute cycle done. The record is now, I mean, it should be wet, but I actually cleaned this record just before on the Okki Nokki, so I can see that there's not too much water on the disc, which is actually a good thing. But I'll take it over to the desk, we'll spray the surfactant on, and we'll see how much dirt and grime there really is. Okay, so you got your record wet. The next part is fairly simple. You take your surfactant or anti-static spray, there we go, and then you spray it at 12 o'clock, 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock. And then the idea is you work the surfactant spray into the record with the supplied brush. Now I'm sure this is coming up now, but you can see this almost white toothpaste-ish material. Essentially what that is, that's dirt and grime and old cleaning solution, cleaning fluid coming to the surface after the ultrasonic clean. So even though I've just actually cleaned this record on the Okki Nokki on a different cleaning machine, there are still contaminants on the record. So as you can see, that whitest toothpaste-ish kind of a thing, this is, you know, this is one of the things that would bug me. I would clean a record and still there would be pops and clicks. So that's what led me on the road down to ultrasonic cleaning. And as you can see here, I mean, this is really coming up. Admittedly, I didn't clean this side before, and this was a second-hand record, but, you know, come from a reputable place. But now that that's got the surfactant cleaning solution in there, we'll do another cycle in the Kirmuss and see the condition after that. Okay, so we've just gone through our second 5-minute spin in the ultrasonic. We'll spray on some more surfactant and see how much more of this whitish toothpaste. Yeah, see, you can really see now the ultrasonic has really loosened the dirt and grime that was actually embedded in the grooves of the record. And, you know, this is something that you don't really see. The ultrasonic is really the only cleaner where you can see physical proof of the dirt coming to the surface, which, you know, I am a fan of, and I think it warrants the extortionate fee, the time and effort it takes into cleaning a record ultrasonically. You know, if you want to clean a record this way and you just want a quick 5 minutes and you're done, ultrasonic cleaning is not the way forward for you. No, ultrasonic cleaning can take absolutely ages. as I've recently discovered. But there we go, second lot of surfactant on the record now. I'll put it back in the Kirmuss. We'll do another 5-minute cycle and then we'll see how much debris comes off the record this time. So the record's now had its second dose of surfactant. I'm going to add the third one now, and then this will tell us how much more cleaning really the record needs. So when I'm going round the record now, I can see that the surfactant is still bringing up some dirt, but not as much as it did before. And it's evaporating fairly quickly. And what this actually says to me is this is embedding itself into the grooves, because liquid, or PVC, repels liquid. So let's just flip this over and see on this side. I think this may actually be the last 5-minute cycle we'll do here with this record. But as you can see already, it's taken, when this finishes, it's taken 20 minutes to clean this one record. And you know, using an Okki Nokki, I could have cleaned many records in 20 minutes. But I'll pop this back in the machine and then we'll take a look at it. So after 20 or so minutes of cleaning in the ultrasonic, how does the record actually look? Well, it looks pretty amazing. I mean, it looks brand new. It looks like it's never been played. I don't know how much of this you'll actually be able to pick up because it's just a black vinyl record, but it looks fantastic. And more importantly, I know it's going to sound amazing as well. So here's the dilemma that I face, or not that I face because I've already gone as far as buying the machine and kind of putting in the work. But the ultrasonic, the Kirmuss machine that I have, and this isn't the only ultrasonic machine for cleaning records, there are others, but that machine that I own, that was 1,200 UK pounds. The little bottle of surfactant spray, I bought a five times refill bottle of that. That was £100. The distilled water, you have to special order. You know, distilled water is not something that you could just find in a hardware store over here in the UK. Deionized water, which a lot of people think is the same, it's not. So I had to buy or special order some distilled water. That was another 50 odd pounds because I bought quite a lot of it. So far the machine has cost me a ton of money, and well, I'm not thrilled about how much it's cost me, to be perfectly honest, but the results certainly do speak for themselves. I mean, the records that I've cleaned in the ultrasonic, they sound absolutely fantastic. They genuinely do. And my finishing process is slightly different from that of what Kirmuss would recommend. They recommend that once a record is clean, or clean enough, you use distilled water and an optician's cloth to go round the disc. And essentially all you're doing there is just, depending on how clean your optician's cloth is, you could potentially be putting more dirt into the grooves of the record. And then they recommend that you use the surfactant spray and actually coat the record to prevent kind of bacteria, fungal infection, that kind of a thing. But I tried that the first couple of times I cleaned records, and I just found that it just put dirt, or it just put the solution back onto the surface of the record. And when I played it, the solution just got caught on my stylus. And I thought, well, this is crazy. So I did some looking around online and read some other people's experiences, and my finishing experience is completely different now. I actually use a combination of the Kirmuss and the Okki Nokki to kind of finish things off. And honestly, the records that I have that used to sound or have some issues have never sounded better. To be perfectly honest, they sound fantastic. So ultrasonic cleaning isn't going to be for everyone. I understand that it's a very expensive and time-consuming way to clean records. You know, I used to clean 10-15 records in a go. It was no big deal. An hour, hour and a half, depending on how dirty the records were. Now I can spend 30 minutes easily cleaning one record, but at the end of it, you know, it is worth it because I won't have to clean that record again now for a while, and I'm overall genuinely quite happy with the machine. If you're serious about cleaning records though, I would definitely look into something like the Okki Nokki, a vacuum cleaning machine. They are great machines. Lots of people recommend them. I had no problems with mine whatsoever. I just wanted to take it to the next level and really see how clean I could get things. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you think I'm mad, let me know. Leave me a comment down below. But remember, you can follow us online at Record Room Show on social media. Until we meet again though, stay gold. Make sure you're washing your hands and you're wearing your gloves. And most importantly though, spin those blackest circles.